"Mom, is Sarah home?" My son's voice crackled over the phone. I could hear the hum of jet engines in the background. "Of course, honey," I whispered, glancing at the guest room door. "She's resting. She has a terrible flu. I just brought her soup an hour ago." There was a long silence on the line. Too long. "Mom," my son said, his voice dropping to a chilling tone, "I'm in the cockpit. We just finished boarding for the flight to Switzerland, and I'm looking at the passenger manifest." "So?" I asked, confused. "Mom, Sarah isn't sick. She is sitting in seat 1A, drinking champagne, and she's not alone." I dropped the phone. I ran to the guest room and threw open the door. The figure under the blanket wasn't my daughter-in-law. It was a pile of pillows arranged to look like a body, and the family safe in the corner was wide open. My name is Martha, and I thought I was helping my sick daughter-in-law recover. Instead, I was guarding an empty room while she pulled off the heist of the century. But she made one mistake. She didn't check the pilot's schedule. She didn't know that the plane she boarded to escape was being flown by her own husband. Let me explain how we got here. My son Lucas is a commercial airline pilot. He's often away for days. His wife, Sarah, was always the sweet, quiet type. Or so we thought. 3 days ago, Sarah told us she felt ill. "It's contagious," she said. "I'll isolate in the guest room. Don't come in, just leave food at the door." I agreed. I wanted to be a good mother-in-law. I spent days tiptoeing around the house, making her broth, whispering so she could sleep. Lucas was scheduled to fly to Zurich that night. Sarah knew he was flying. What she didn't know was that Lucas had switched shifts last minute to cover for a friend. She thought he was flying to Tokyo. Back on the phone, Lucas was panic-stricken. "Mom, check the safe. Now!" I was already staring at it. The hidden wall safe behind the painting. It was empty. My jewelry, the emergency cash, the bonds, everything gone. Value? Over $500,000. "It's gone, Lucas," I gasped. "Everything." "Who is she with?" I asked. "A man," Lucas said, his voice tight with rage. "Tall, dark hair. I recognize him. It's the financial advisor she introduced us to last month." The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. She wasn't just leaving him. She was robbing us blind and running off with her lover. "Lucas, you have to turn the plane around," I screamed. "I can't," he said. "We are already taxiing. If I turn back now without a medical or mechanical emergency, I lose my license. I lose my career." "So you're just going to fly her to freedom?" "No," Lucas said darkly. "We have an 8-hour flight. That is 8 hours where she is trapped in a metal tube with me." Lucas explained his plan. He couldn't confront her directly in the cabin. It would cause a scene and violate protocol. But he was the captain. He had control over the environment. First, he made an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a slight issue with the climate control system in the first-class cabin. It might get a little warm." He turned up the heat in first class, just enough to be uncomfortable, just enough to make her sweat. Then he instructed the flight attendants, who were his friends and knew Sarah, to be extra attentive. Every 10 minutes, a flight attendant would walk by seat 1A and say, "Is everything okay, Mrs. Miller? You look a little nervous." They used her married name, loudly, the name of the husband she was betraying, who was flying the plane. Sarah started to crack. I was at home on the phone with the airport police, but Lucas was updating me via text when he could. She was asking to change seats. She was pale. She knew something was wrong. Sarah realized she was trapped. She couldn't get off. She couldn't call anyone. And the voice coming over the intercom, it sounded familiar. Finally, Lucas played his ace card. He walked out of the cockpit for a routine break. He walked straight down the aisle of first class. He stopped right next to seat 1A. Sarah froze. Her lover looked confused. Lucas didn't yell. He didn't scream. He just smiled a cold, professional smile. "Welcome aboard, Sarah," he said calmly. "I hope you're enjoying the service. By the way, my mother says hello. She found the pillows." Sarah's face went white. She tried to speak, but no words came out. "Enjoy the flight," Lucas said. "The police will be waiting at the gate in Zurich." The best part? The lover didn't know she was married to the pilot. He didn't know she had stolen the money from his family. When Lucas walked away, the lover turned to Sarah. "Who was that?" "My husband," she whispered. "Your husband? The pilot?" "And he knows about the money," Lucas added over his shoulder. The lover realized he was an accomplice to a felony. He spent the next 6 hours trying to distance himself from her, moving to an empty seat in economy. Sarah was left alone, sweating in the heat, trapped at 30,000 feet. When the plane landed in Zurich, the Swiss police were waiting on the jet bridge. I was on a video call with Lucas as they escorted her off. "But I'm sick," she tried to lie to the officers. "I need a doctor." "You seemed fine drinking champagne in seat 1A, Lucas said, standing in the cockpit doorway. They found the jewelry and cash in her carry-on. Because Lucas had alerted authorities mid-flight, it was considered an international crime. Sarah is now facing charges for grand larceny and fraud. Lucas filed for divorce the same day. I went back to the guest room and stripped the bed. I burned the pillows she used to trick me. She thought she was flying to a new life of luxury. Instead, she booked a one-way ticket to a prison cell, and she forgot the golden rule of aviation. The captain always knows who is on his plane. If you ever think you can outsmart your family, remember this story. If you enjoyed this flight, please hit that like button and subscribe to What Martha Knew. And tell me in the comments, what would you do if you were Lucas? Would you have turned the plane around or tortured her for 8 hours like he did? See you in the next story.